In the mid-19th century, the American West was a place of constant change, a land of opportunity, danger, and cultural encounters. Among the many stories from this era, few are as fascinating as that of Olive Oatman, a young pioneer girl whose life took an extraordinary turn after a violent encounter on the frontier. Olive Ann Oatman was born in 1837 in Illinois into a large family that followed the teachings of James Brewster, a religious leader who broke away from the main Mormon church. In 1850, when Olive was just 13, her family, parents Royce and Mary Ann, along with their 7 children, joined Brewster's group and set out on a long, arduous journey westward, hoping to reach California. However, the group soon split due to disagreements, and the Oatmans decided to continue the dangerous journey on their own. By February 1851, near what is now Arizona, tragedy struck. The family encountered a group of Yavapai people. Accounts differ on what exactly happened, but tensions escalated and the Yavapai attacked. Only 3 of the Oatman children survived the attack. Olive, who was 14 at the time, and her younger sister, Mary Ann, just 7 years old, were taken captive. Their 15-year-old brother, Lorenzo, was beaten and left for dead, but later managed to escape and was eventually rescued. Olive and Mary Ann were taken captive and forced to live among the Yavapai for about a year. The Yavapai were a Native American people who lived in what is now central and western Arizona. Traditionally, they were semi-nomadic hunter-gatherers, moving with the seasons to find food and water. They relied heavily on wild plants, nuts, and seeds, but also hunted small game and occasionally larger animals. The Yavapai lived in small family groups and built simple brush shelters that could easily be moved as they followed resources. They had no centralized leadership. Instead, decisions were made collectively within the group. At the time, relations between the Yavapai and settlers were often tense. As more pioneers moved westward, competition over land and resources increased, which sometimes led to conflict. Life was harsh and food scarce, but in 1852, the girls were traded to the Mojave people, a different Native American group, in exchange for horses and blankets. The Mojave lived along the Colorado River in what is now Arizona, California, and Nevada, and they were known for their skillful farming in an otherwise harsh desert environment. Using irrigation from the river, they grew crops such as corn, beans, pumpkins, and melons, which formed the foundation of their diet. Unlike the Yavapai, the Mojave were more settled and lived in small villages. They built homes from logs, brush, and mud, forming strong, close-knit communities. The Mojave were also known for their distinctive tattooing traditions, especially on the chin, which were seen as marks of identity and beauty. They valued trade and maintained relationships with neighboring tribes, but conflicts with settlers occasionally erupted as westward expansion intensified. Among the Mojave, Olive and Mary Ann's lives changed dramatically. The Mojave adopted them into the tribe and treated them relatively well. The sisters were given traditional clothing, taught to work the fields, and, most famously, Olive received the distinctive blue chin tattoos common among Mojave women, marking her as part of the community. Tragically, in 1855, a severe famine swept through the Mojave. Food shortages took the life of young Mary Ann, leaving Olive alone. Meanwhile, Olive's brother Lorenzo, who had survived the initial attack, never stopped searching for her. In 1856, authorities in California negotiated her release. Olive was around 19 years old when she was finally freed and reunited with her brother after 5 long years in captivity. Upon returning to American society, Olive's appearance shocked many. Her Mojave tattoos were permanent reminders of her years among native peoples, and they became a source of both fascination and controversy. In a time when cultural boundaries were strictly drawn, Olive's story raised complex questions about identity, assimilation, and survival. In the years that followed, Olive toured the country, giving lectures about her experiences, working closely with a minister named Royal Stratton, who published a popular book about her captivity in 1857. However, many historians believe that Stratton's version sensationalized her story, portraying her as a helpless victim rather than exploring the nuanced relationships she had with the Mojave. Olive later married a successful businessman, John B. Fairchild, and lived a relatively quiet life in Texas and California until her death in 1903 at the age of 65. Today, historians continue to debate the details of Olive Oatman's life. Was she purely a captive, or did she, over time, become part of the Mojave community? The truth likely lies somewhere in between.